Right now, as you sit in your chair or walk down the street, you feel like you are standing perfectly still, but you are actually a passenger on a giant cosmic merry-go-round. The Earth is spinning at a staggering speed of about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. We don't feel it because everything, the air, the trees, and the oceans, is moving at the exact same speed along with us. But what if someone suddenly pulled the emergency brake? What if the Earth just stopped? It wouldn't just be a long day. It would be the most chaotic moment in the history of our planet. Today on Futurixia, we are stopping the clock and the world to ask, what if Earth stopped spinning? To understand the first few seconds of this disaster, we have to talk about inertia. Inertia is a rule of the universe that says if something is moving, it wants to keep moving unless something stops it. Imagine you are in a car going 60 miles per hour and the driver slams on the brakes. You feel your body jolt forward, right? Now imagine that car is the Earth and it's going 1,000 miles per hour. If the solid ground stops, but the things on the ground don't, everything would be hurled sideways toward the east at supersonic speeds. Buildings, cars, trees, and even the rocks beneath your feet would be launched into the air. The atmosphere, the air we breathe, would also keep moving. This would create winds so powerful, they would make the strongest hurricane look like a tiny breeze. These winds would literally scour the surface of the Earth clean. For the first few minutes, the planet would be a giant swirling mess of flying debris. The only place you might be safe is at the North or South poles, where the spinning is much slower. But even there, the trouble would just be beginning. Once the dust settled, we would notice a massive change in the map of the world. Have you ever noticed that the Earth isn't a perfect circle? It's actually a bit fat around the middle. Because the Earth spins, gravity pushes the oceans toward the equator, creating a giant bulge of water. If the spinning stopped, that bulge would collapse. The oceans would start rushing away from the center of the Earth and toward the North and South poles. In just a few weeks, the middle of the Earth would become a giant dry continent. You could walk from South America to Africa without ever touching the water. Meanwhile, the North and South would be completely flooded. Cities like London, New York, and Tokyo would be deep underwater, forming two massive polar oceans. The world would be divided into one giant ring of land in the middle, and two giant puddles at the top and bottom. But the biggest change would be the day. Right now, a day lasts 24 hours, because that's how long it takes for the Earth to make one full turn. If the Earth stopped spinning, the only way to get to the other side of the sun would be to wait for the Earth to finish its year-long orbit. This means a single day would now last an entire year. You would have 6 months of non-stop, scorching sunlight, followed by 6 months of pitch black, freezing night. During the 6-month day, the sun would never set. The ground would bake until it cracked, and the temperatures would soar far above anything humans have ever experienced. Most plants would wither and die under the constant heat. Then, when the night finally arrived, the temperature would plummet to hundreds of degrees below zero. The water would freeze, and the air would turn into a frozen mist. Humans would have to become nomads, constantly moving along the tiny sliver of land where the sun is either rising or setting. The only place where the temperature might be just right to survive. Without the spin, we would also lose our invisibility shield. Deep inside the Earth, there is a core of liquid iron. Because the Earth spins, that iron swirls around, creating a giant magnetic field. This field is like a force field that protects us from solar wind, deadly radiation coming from the sun. If the Earth stopped spinning, the liquid iron would stop swirling, and our magnetic field would fade away. Without it, the sun's radiation would hit the surface directly, making it impossible for anything to live outside. We would have to build our cities deep underground, living like moles to stay safe from the invisible rays. Even the shape of our bodies might change over many generations. Without the centrifugal force of the spin pushing outward, gravity would actually feel a little bit stronger. Everything would feel slightly heavier. We might grow shorter and sturdier to handle the extra weight. But would there be any good side to a stationary Earth? Well, for astronomers, it would be a dream come true. If you lived on the dark side of the Earth, you would have 6 months of perfectly clear, still night sky to look at the stars without any sun getting in the way. And if you like to sleep in, well, you'd have the longest night of your life. In reality, the Earth isn't going to stop spinning anytime soon. In fact, it's actually slowing down, but it's doing it very, very slowly. Only about 2 milliseconds every 100 years. It would take billions of years for the Earth to actually stop. By then, the sun will have changed so much that we would have much bigger problems to worry about than the spin. Thinking about the Earth stopping is a great way to realize how much we depend on the rhythm of our planet. We complain about Monday mornings or having to go to bed early, but that 24-hour cycle is the heartbeat of life. It keeps the oceans where they belong. It protects us from space radiation, and it keeps the temperature perfect for trees, animals, and us. The spin of the Earth is a reminder that we are all part of a giant, moving machine. Every sunset you watch, and every sunrise you wake up to, is a sign that the machine is working perfectly. We live in a world that is just right, and it stays that way because we keep on turning. So if you could choose one place to be when the Earth stopped spinning, where would it be? Would you want to be in the 6-month sunshine or the 6-month starlight? Or would you try to stay on the move, chasing the perfect twilight forever? Let us know in the comments below. We love to hear your survival plans for a stationary world. Thanks for joining us for this world-stopping adventure here at Futurixia. If you enjoyed thinking about the big what-ifs of our planet today, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring the notification bell. We have plenty more journeys into the impossible to share with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep on spinning.